What's up, sports fans? Today we are talking about angle relationships within triangles. Got a learning target for you. It looks like this. Says I can apply theorems and find the measure of angles within triangles. So I'm going to drop a few theorems on you. I'm going to drop a few definitions on you, and then we're going to solve a triangle together. Find the angles of a triangle together from some limited information. First things first, triangle sum theorem. This is something I think you've already seen before, but we're going to formalize it right now. The sum of the three angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. That means when you add up the three angles in a triangle, they're going to add up to 180. Example, we're going to take our three angles here. We have a 50-degree angle, an 89-degree angle, and the other one, we do not know what it is, but we know when we add them all together, they add up to 180 degrees. So if we were to solve this, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to subtract 139 from the left, subtract 139 from the right-hand side, and we learn that x equals, oh gosh, I think this is 41 degrees. So this 41-degree angle is right here. That's the triangle sum theorem in a nutshell. Let's talk some definitions. We have a figure here, angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. Angle 4 is kind of a funky one. We haven't seen something quite like that. But what we have here is the interior angles of a triangle is what we're defining. First, the interior triangles are the angles on the inside. There's always three. So in this case, the interior angles, we have angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. That should be no surprise, but technically, formally, they're the interior angles of the triangle. Exterior angle of a triangle, this is the new piece. That's like angle 4 here. So if we extend one of the legs of a triangle out, it doesn't matter which one we extend. We could extend any of them in any direction. It creates some external angles, and there's some theorems that we're going to use these for in the future. That's why we're talking about this. So in this particular case, the external angle is angle 4. One new piece of information as it relates to the external angle is remote interior angles. So for this example, we're talking remote interior angles as they relate to angle 4. Remote interior angles are just the interior angles that don't touch this one. They aren't adjacent, the non-adjacent angles to angle 4. So in this case, it's angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 3 is not a remote interior angle because these two are adjacent to one another. So in this case, again, angle 1 and angle 2. Interior angles, exterior angles, remote interior angles. For a little more formal definition, check out my notes along with this lesson. Another theorem coming your way, external angle theorem. This one says the external angle has the same measure of the sum of the two remote interior angles. Ooh, that's kind of messy and gross. Let's look at a picture. So this picture says, well, it's the same one that we had earlier, but I assigned a few angle measures. Now angle 4 has a measure of 115 degrees. Angle 2 has the measure of 85 degrees. And our task is to figure out what is the measure of angle number 1. Well, we're going to apply this theorem right away. We know that the external angle, in this case it's 115, so I'm going to set this up right now. The external angle has the same measure of the sum of the two remote interior angles. Sum means we're adding the two remote interior angles, are angle 1 and angle 2. So if we add angle 1 and angle 2 together, we get x plus 85. Now, we can solve this equation, solve for x, and then we get our angle measure for number 1. So I'm subtracting 85 from both sides, and I learned that x equals 30. So in this case, angle number 1 is no longer x, but it is 30 degrees. External angle theorem, that's what it is. Here's how it works. Okay, I want to run through one and only one example with you, but it's a doozy. I'm going to go through it kind of quick, so if you need to pause, if you need to rewind, if you need to watch it again, whatever you need, take what you need here. So here's our triangle. We have angles 1 and 2 and 3 and an external angle of 124 degrees. We know that the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1 because that's given information. That's annoying given information, but it's true and we're going to use it. And our goal is to find the measure of each angle. So at the end of this, we're going to know exactly what the measure of angle 1 is, the measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 3. And right now, we only have this angle out here as well as this fact here that seems annoying. So, okay, we got to get to work here. So I'd like to utilize the triangle sum theorem. I know that angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is 180 degrees, but that doesn't really help us because we just have 3 mystery angles. We just have 3 variables. We don't really know what's what yet, 3 unknowns. So let's utilize the other theorem that we have, the external angle theorem. So that one says that the measure of the external angle equals the sum of these two other measures. So we still have two unknowns, but let's at least set it up. So we know that 124, that's this external angle, equals the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So that's our starting point. Okay, let's look at this given information. Let's see if we can use this. We know that the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1. So let's set up an additional equation over here. If the measure of angle 2 equals 3 times the measure of angle 1, we can use this information. This is pretty good because here we have two unknowns. It's angle 1 and angle 2, a measure of angle 1, measure of angle 2. Same two unknowns, but here we have it solved for one of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some substitution. We know that the measure of angle 2 is the same thing as 3 times the measure of angle 1. So I'm going to substitute that in here. This equals measure of angle 1. Nothing's changed yet. Nothing's changed. Let's get our substitution on. Now instead of the measure of angle 2, we know that the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1. Now we only have one unknown. Let's find the measure of angle 1 and then see what we can do after that. So 124 equals, combining like terms. Here I have one measure of angle 1. Here I have 3 of them. If I add 1 and 3 together, I have 4 of them. I have 4 times the measure of angle 1. Treating measure of angle 1 here, that's just a single variable. I know it's like 3 little things that you've written right next to each other, but the measure of angle 1, that's a single unknown quantity here. So we need to divide it by 4 because we have 4 times stuff equals 124. When we divide 124 by 4, we learn that the measure of angle 1 equals, well, 4 goes into 120 30 times, and then we're going to have one more than that. So the measure of angle 1 is going to be 31 degrees. If you don't trust that, that's fine. I don't blame you. You can do 124 divided by 4 in your calculator. So the measure of angle 1 is 31 degrees. 31 degrees. Okay, let's find the measure of angle 2 now. I'm going to use the same exact equation that we started with here. So let's just rewrite it. 124 equals measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. But now we have the measure of angle 1. We figured that piece out. So let's sub that in. 124 equals 31, coming from right here, plus the measure of angle 2. Now it's just solve the equation. We just need to subtract 31 from both sides. 124 minus 30 would be 94, but then we're going to take away one more than that. So the measure of angle 2 is 93 degrees. So let's capture that over here. Hey, we're doing well. 1 to go. Now we get to use the triangle sum theorem. We know that if we add up all 3 of these angle measures, it's going to be 180 degrees. So let's do that. 31 plus 93 plus, I'm going to call this one, I'll call it the measure of angle 3, equals 180. Combine my terms, subtract, let's make it happen. This is 123, 124. So I'm going to subtract 124 from both sides. Measure of angle 3 equals 180 minus 124. Is that 64, I believe? 64 plus that. Nope, that's not right. That's not right. 66? I feel better about 66. Because 66 plus 31 is 97. That gets us to 100. Oh, geez, I made another mistake. Good thing I'm checking myself. I think it's 56. 56 plus 31 is 87. If I add 3 to that, that is 90. And then if I add 90 to 90, that's 180. That checks out. So the measure of angle 3 is 56 degrees. There we go. We utilize the triangle sum. We use the external angle theorem first. We did some substitution, some algebra. We kind of had a system of equations working up here. This is the same external angle theorem, and then we utilize the triangle sum theorem to find our three sides. Again, if you need to watch that again, slow it down, speed it up, pause, whatever you need, take advantage of it. Let me know if you have questions. I believe in you. You got this.